Welcome back to CurlCast. Today we're going to talk to you about training splits. Evidently what that means is what kind of stuff you should be doing day to day, so whether it should be training more upper body, lower body, we'll delve into all that different kinds of splits and how and what you should be doing day to day essentially. If you're going to your gym 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, we'll basically break it down what you should be doing each day and when, basically. So I'll pass you over to Alex, who's basically going to break it down for you, and we'll go from there.
So what your training split involves really depends on your level of experience, where you're at with the gym. When you're starting off, it's best to go maybe 2 to 3 times a week. 3 is much more optimal. Any more, you're not going to be able to recover properly for straight away. Your body's not going to be used to it. You're not going to be ready for a really intense training program. So 2 to 3 times a week is good. Moving on from there, you just have to get a bit more experience. You can go more often, 4 to 5 times, and as you advance, you can bring that up to 6. When you start off, starting with full body training is the best way. So training your full body 3 times a week, giving yourself at least 48 hours in between each exercise to recover. And moving on, you go into separate push-pull days in a full body manner. So full body push, full body pull. And then you can separate that into push, pull, and then legs on a separate day. But that's something that Ryan's now going to cover in more detail.
I was about to say, you pretty much covered a lot there, really. I was like, and that's the end.
Episode done.
See you guys! No. Continue.
So yeah, you summed it, like I say, you summed it up well. There's generally 3 days is where you're going to be starting. It's where most people feel comfortable more so than anything. I think if you try and rush it, if you've never trained before and you go in and you try and do 4, 5, it's at 6, you never go 7, will we? I don't think any PTs. So yeah, max out on 6. But if someone comes to you and even as a PT consultation, for example, you're probably never going to say, right, I think you should start on a 6-day split.
Don't do with a PT.
3 days is often actually quite doable. We're actually running an initiative here at the gym at the moment which encourages people to come 3 days a week, and if they've done it for whole of September, all of October, all of November, they actually get a free month in December. And 3 days is doable.
The good thing about doing 3 days as well, you can have a nice little gap in between. So you pick Monday,
and you get
Wednesday,
the weekends.
Friday. Exactly.
If you're thinking Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you work at weekends, you can still have a big chunk in between each day. You're giving yourself at least 24 to 30 hours rest in between each session.
But with it, you really do need to make sure you're hitting full body. Really, I think 3 day is. You can go for a push-pull leg, but you're going to be spending a long time in the gym if you are doing it that way. Yeah. I don't know, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this, but a lot of my program always goes down to try and get someone to hit about 20 sets a week on a certain muscle group. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing push-pull leg, so push is going to be, break it down for those that maybe aren't aware. Push is any muscle, any action where you're essentially pushing the weight away from you, so it's predominantly going to be shoulders, chest and triceps. Pull is always going to be back and biceps, pulling it towards, or if you want to really go into legs, it's going to be like hamstrings, quads being the push, and then legs is self-explanatory. But say it's going to be 20 sets chest, 20 sets back, 20 sets this, and that's going to be hard. So full body counters that quite well. I don't know if you do similar or.
Well, I can't really go too much into it because obviously I train 6 times a week, so I'll probably do that anyway. But I do the whole push-pull legs, but I do that 3 on and then 3 on again. But how I do it from strength the first 3 days, so I go more heavier, and then the last 3 I do more isolation, stuff like that, essentially. But what you're saying is good, because obviously if you are training more full body, you tend to probably want to be hitting more compound moves as well, because you are going to be targeting more muscles at the same time as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then if you feel like you want to train a bit more shoulders, you can then get more specific, like lateral raises, stuff like that. But it's the same again, depending on what time and what jobs and stuff you got, you might not be able to go 4 or 5 times a week. 2 to 3 might be the max. What I always try to do with my clients, if they're training with me once a week, I just do a full body. Because at the end of the day, there's no point in training them upper body one week and training them lower body next week, because they're not going to progress as much. If they train me 2 times a week, I try and do upper, lower.
Do you change that if they train by themselves during the week as well?
So depending on how many times they come, will depend on how they train with me at the end of the day. Like if they're going to train before the day before, obviously they know they're going to be working with full body, so they'll probably go a little bit low or they'll do a bit of cardio.
Okay.
Or similar to what I do with my clients. Like a lot of them are on splits because
exactly.
They train sort of 5 days a week. If they know they're going to be doing a push session with me one day, they'll make sure that they've done a pull or
legs
separate or maybe some cardio the day before.
Yeah. Because that's a good thing as well. Because even you don't have to, like if you are training 3 days a week, you don't have to do full body. You could do upper, lower, and then cardio if you really wanted to. Because then that's getting your general fitness into it as well. But yeah, like if someone's going to train with me 3 times a week, I opt for more the push-pull legs because then you can then go more into specific compound isolation and stuff like that. Like I only do HIIT with my clients because I don't want to be standing there for half an hour. Like I want to make sure they get their money's worth. And I just tell them at the end of the day, like in your own time, do your cardio. Like I can do your program on cardio to help you improve your fitness and stuff like that, but I don't want to be standing there talking to them for an hour, running on the treadmill and stuff like that. It's like
they don't want to be running, speaking to you for an hour.
Yeah. Thanks, you know, all viewers there. You don't want to listen to me. But like you see it. We're like I constantly see it in the gym as well. Like you'll see someone come in and they'll train specifically chest. Like you've probably both seen it as well, the classic row split, stuff like that.
On Monday morning.
International
chest day.
Yeah, international chest day. Exactly, and then they'll do arms another day, and then they'll probably hit back, and legs never come into it for most people. But we won't go into that too much. Don't want to mention anyone Alex. I was looking at Alex's. But like, I always see it as if you are going to target more specific muscle groups, that's more for like bodybuilding competitive people. Like if you are going like to the gym twice a day, like I see people in the gym all day. They'll go in the morning before work and they'll go in the gym after work. Like that's a good split at the end of the day.
You don't want to be doing the same muscle group twice in a day though, because you know
exactly. You want to hit like
make sure it's separates.
Or opposites, like chest in the back, stuff like that.
In the morning and pull in.
Exactly. But say you want to train chest in the morning, then go do a chest session in the evening. That's just
you're overcooking it.
Yeah, exactly. But anything else that you want to?
No.
Into the whole like training specific muscles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we've covered like the full body and we'll start going into the 4-day. I guess we start looking. I'll expand on actually what you said because a lot of what I've always seen for 4 days is similar to what your 6 days is. People that go from that 3 down to 4 days split will generally start doing an upper lower split with strength focus and hypertrophy focus. But it just comes back to the whole thing. Your training split's going to reflect your goals. If your goal is to lose weight, actually my thing about 20 sets may not be that applicable because that's going to be more aimed at like muscle growth, hypertrophic growth and strength. But yeah, that's another common one 4-day. Any of my clients will know that my 4-day split's a little bit different. It goes more into like strength training, which is something we haven't really gone too much into at the moment. So I'll go on to it a little bit. I actually split a lot of my clients up into their compound lifts. So we spoke about how doing compound lifts is a lot more beneficial. You're targeting lots of different muscle groups. So when you squat, you're not just targeting your quads, you're targeting your glutes, your hamstrings, your lower back, even your shoulders to support it, your core.
Something that's overlooked a lot on the squats. You wouldn't think about it. But bracing and stabilising your spine.
Yeah, especially if you go a low bar squat where you're really incorporating the lower back as well. So I break mine up into compound lifts. So I'll get them doing one squat day, one deadlift day, one overhead press day, and one bench day. And then they have the accessory movements outside of that, which target a lot more into their individual differences. And it's actually been something that I've seen quite a lot of results with any of my clients, whether it's muscle gain, weight loss, etc. It all seems to work quite well, and it's not a new take by any means. and obviously the programming comes into it, which is something that comes with the individual person, but something new. Most people doing a 4-day wouldn't think to only train those muscles once a week, like what you spoke about, where someone might just do chest, just do back, but it's still the compound element that actually helps, and yeah, it's
more of a load for your body, so it's more likely to make an adaptation, isn't it? If you were just doing chest flies once a week and you expect your pecs to grow, it's not really going to happen because there's not enough stimulus there.
No, and the way I program it as well with those sets is there's a lot of sets in it. Like in that one workout, say you're doing bench, like you're likely to be doing 7-8 sets on bench, which is almost half of that 20 that I spoke about anyway, but it's broke down in a way that is more achievable for them. But yeah, it doesn't have to just be like push-pull legs. There's lots of different stuff in regards to that.
Like as you say, like with goal setting and stuff like that, like you might not want to be doing weights, you might not even be doing a push-pull, you might want to be working more in general, so you might even do like cardio one day and then do a body workout the next day. Like depending on what you want to do.
Everyone's got access to weights, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. So even if you split it into, say, cardio one day, hit the other day, like it doesn't have to evolve around lifting weights. It doesn't have to evolve around pushing and pulling specific muscles. It might be even more sport specific as well. Like one day you might do a heavy, like if you, I don't know, if you're a sprinter, one day you might be down the track doing laps, stuff like that. Next day, yeah, you might be doing more specific, like plyometric stuff like that, more specific into why you're training. So
I think the intensity varies well, because we said earlier about how you never train 7 days a week, but actually, if you're sort of an older person, sort of 60s, 70s, and you just want general fitness, and actually your training split is you go for a walk,
walk
then
around the field.
You can walk 7 days a week, multiple times a day.
Quite easily.
You're not going to go in and bench plates multiple times a week, 7 days a week. It's come down to intensity. And when you get to those high levels, elite athletes, they're actually training less throughout the week. I mean,
they're training so hard at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, think about your colleague still, Dan, he trained 3 times a week, and he squats more than I think I've ever seen any human do.
Yeah, exactly.
As a warm up.
But that's the thing as well, like, it's like, as you say, with intensities, you could go hard one day and then just go down the gym next day and just do a deload. So you really reduce the weight, you're still doing the same movements, but you're not tiring out that muscle to the point of fatigue. You're still just working the muscle.
Yeah, with stuff like that, it's keeping it active. It prevents it from cramping up, increases blood flow, brings nutrients to the muscles, promoting repair.
And I'm a firm believer into muscle memory as well. So it takes obviously a few weeks for your muscles to get used to it, adapt to it, stuff like that as well. And that's when you want to be swapping your exercise stuff around just to like help, especially with hypertrophy as well. But it doesn't have to be a massive change. Like you can change from a chest press to an incline. Exactly the same kind of movement, but it's just going to hit different part of the chest.
It's more of the upper chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Belts involved.
Exactly.
I don't tend to change the programming of exercises until I find that I've used up what I can. Because if I've started seeing results from it, and I'm 3 weeks down the line, and it's still working really well for me, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm just going to change it now, because there's kind of no point.
No, it allows you to track progress as well. You're never going to be able to see if you're improving if you change your exercise every 2 weeks.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm a firm believer in as well. Like I see a lot of people, they'll do the same thing every single time, and I find like if you just change, like if you instead of doing the squat, do a goblet squat.
Yeah.
Same sort of muscles, same sort of movement, but motivation's going to keep up as well.
Psychologically, I definitely agree.
Mentally,
the same exercises.
Exactly.
I know you do curls all day.
But you change from dumbbell to the easy curl.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight bar.
Yeah, it's the same movement. It's the same movement, but
Resistance bands.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same movement,
Preacher
but
curls.
it's different challenges and stuff like that. Like
Hammer curls.
I'm just naming every single curl. Welcome to CurlCast. We talk about curls.
Hammer curls with pronation, lying down.
Exactly, but that's the thing though.
Hamstring cut? No.
Hey Dave, speaking about legs. I completely forgot what I was about to say. But as you say, you want to keep doing the same thing. You are technically doing the same thing. You're just slightly hitting the same muscle, but in the same way. But to your mind, you're doing something different.
Yeah, it changes the stimulus.
Yeah, and I, like with my clients, I always tend to change them probably every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much they've progressed. Obviously, if they want to exercise like a deadlift or something like that, and they really struggle with it, we'll keep going over it until they kind of nail it.
Yeah.
And then I might switch it up from a deadlift to a sumo. Still deadlift, hits different muscles, but I wouldn't like say, oh right, we're doing deadlifts again. We'll obviously go back to it in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
See if the different isolation muscles that we've exercises that we've been doing has improved on their deadlifts and stuff like that. And I see a result from it as well. Like their strength shoots up. Might have to work on their technique, because obviously if they've done sumo, they might have to pull it a bit differently. But I find I'm a firm believer that you switch it up, try and keep your muscles a bit more not memorising the movement, and mentally as well, trying to keep it so you're not going insane in the same program week in, week out. Oh, it's Monday, so I'm going to be doing chest, so I'm going to be doing bench press, flies, shoulder press, all that kind of stuff. But if you see results from it,
some people enjoy that as well.
Yeah, exactly. It all depends on the person.
I know a person that uses our gym. He'll do the same workout 3 times a week, every week, and he likes that. He doesn't want to come in and do anything different. He wants to come in, he wants to do the same workout, and there's nothing wrong with it.
If it's working,
and
there's nothing wrong at all.
And his goal is to maintain.
That's what I was literally about to say. Yeah, if you're looking to maintain.
Yeah, but he's older, so obviously can't divulge too much information about him.
Yeah, but exactly. But it's like you said about Dan from our gym. Like he's a powerlifter, so powerlifters generally go on to compound movements. They want to get stronger. They want to get stronger in that push. So there's no point in doing a bench press when you want to be training for squats, because there's no point. Because if you want to get your squat game better, you're not going to change that to a goblet squat because you want to get stronger and just doing your normal squat. So you're just going to keep progressive overload, stuff like that, getting your strength into it, maybe wrapping it out a bit more as well. So
with stuff like that, it's quite specific.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about a day in a training split where you work on your weaker areas, just specifically? So if you're doing something like that, so you want to get your squat up and you're struggling, say, in the midsection of the squat, how do you guys feel about including a day where you work specifically on that range of motion, on those target muscles, and on accessory lifts to help as well?
The 4-day split I spoke about earlier, it's one that I follow quite a lot because I like the flexibility with being working with my business and everything else. It also allows me, if I want to train a 5th or 6th day, I can chuck in those cardio, or as you just alluded to, flexibility, range of motion. That's my biggest. I will happily go into a gym and spend 30 minutes just using some bands and the sticks and just working on shoulder flexibility or ankle flexibility or anything like that.
There's something that's often overlooked in a traditional split, isn't it? It's just the weaker areas, things that aren't trained while you're doing your major lifts.
Just by increasing your range of motion, you can increase your strength massively.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like to be able to get down to the bottom part of a squat and sit there and then come up requires tremendous ankle mobility that most people probably don't have in a gym.
No, it's our way of life these days. Things get tight, don't they? Because people aren't moving enough.
But that's where you can say that's a deload day. You might still specifically do, say, if you're struggling with a squat, you're struggling on, like you're struggling to get hip depth. You might do a day where you really drastically reduce the weight just to work on, let's say, ankle mobility, and then you might do a bit of stretching around it and just keep working towards it. And let's say if you're only going to the gym 3 times a week, you throw in that 4th one, you only go to the gym for half an hour, but you're working, let's just say, on that area that you're struggling with. Because I was going to say, like, even though I'm training 6 times a week, I'm now throwing in the 7th because I want to start working. I want to work on my calisthenics. Like, I want to work on bodyweight stuff. Like, I know it's not weight bearing, it's quite high intensity, but I know my body will be able to go from it because I'm not actually straining pulling muscles. Like, I'm just holding certain exercises. So the point where, my muscles might start hurting, but I can stop.
As long as you're still able to recover.
Yeah,
like 7 days a week is a lot.
I know.
Like,
So at that point, you're starting to get to the psychological part of it as well. That's what I think a lot of people don't go to the gym for. It's not for the fact that they don't want to
I think
get
it helps
healthy,
out.
it's the motivation side of it. And
Yeah.
sometimes, as we said earlier, 3 days a week for someone that's new to the gym is perfect.
Oh yeah, well, I'd never say someone going to the gym 7 days. So like I've slowly built up. Like about a year ago, I think I was only literally doing about 3 days. Like I've slowly changed it. So I changed from 3 days doing literally full body, literally like that. Went 4 days, upper, lower. I literally kept adding days and just kept changing it to the point now I'm where I am. But has anyone got anything else to add tonight? Because I think we've pretty much covered a broad range of splits and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm sure we could go in depth more, but that's something. Chuck it in the comments.
if you want to hear things a bit more detailed, then let us know.
And we'll probably go more into like the strength training side of it and stuff like that as well. Anyway, but I think if we wrap it up there, thanks for tuning in again. If you're listening, watching on YouTube. Follow our Instagram page. I forgot what the tag is.
What's forgotten?
Is it just CurlCast Knowledge? It's just
that CurlCast.
That's the one.
Nice and simple. Right?
So that's at CurlCast Knowledge. Give us a follow. You'll see all our videos. That's what I just said, didn't I?
You said CurlCast Norwich.
That's quite a bit.
Is that CurlCast?
I'll get that right one day.
I'm really Norwich.
But anyway, thanks again for Winston Sports Bar. I nearly got it wrong. Thanks again for Winston Sports Centre in Norwich for letting us use their room. If you want to speak to Ryan, he's here. That's where he works. If you want to ask him any questions about his type of training and stuff like that. Me and Alex are at the gym, Norwich Hall Road. If you want to come and see us. If not, drop a message and we can get to you instead. So take it easy and thanks for watching.
See you later.
See ya.